Hey everyone, so I am back at it again with another making of video. This one is a little bit exciting. I've decided that it's really about time for me to remake Lum! So in this video I'll be showing you guys start to finish how I make a Lum cosplay. The one that I've had since 2012 or 2013 is when I made it, and it's just gotten to be all kinds of junky, so it's definitely time for a new one to come along. I figured this is going to be the perfect time to do it because I'm going to a convention, Colossal Con East, for my birthday, and how much fun will it be if my birthday is the same day as the rebirth of my Lum costume. So okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Gotcha. Alright, so first things first, here's the old costume. Here's what it looks like. You can see how badly all of the marker has pretty much smudged. There's pilling on it. The fabric used to be this color, and now it's way dingier and kind of gray. So it's definitely time to remake this. There's still like fashion tape on here too. But here you can kind of see the details of how I did this. I basically sewed like a long tube around some bras that I sewed together, two push-up bras, and basically sewed down the center and made it sure that it fit around me as well as possible by doing some extra tacking stitches. And that's how I got the bra. After that I went in with markers and markered everything. And this I just traced from a pair of underwear that I liked the way it fit on me for Lum, and created a pattern, put that together, and kind of tattered up the edges. And it's 2 layers so that it's extra, you know, good. And same thing for the little socks. I attempted to put these little boot things on the bottom. They ended up looking really ugly, but I just didn't care for a really long time. But I'm gonna try and fix them up and make everything look a lot better this time around. I'm also gonna remake her horns. These are way too big, and I just haven't had the time or energy to remake them ever for some reason, so we're gonna do that today. So I hope you guys are excited. So I cut out a yard. I ended up buying like 3 yards because this particular fabric is discontinued from Joann. What I'm using, it's actually, I believe, called like the Goldilocks Interlock or something like that, or gold something. It is a 100% cotton jersey, and I'm using this because it will absorb the marker pretty well and it shouldn't smudge very much. Like this one, clearly it's smudged, but I've had it for years and years and years, and it's not too bad. It's still wearable. It's just a little bit old and needs to be refreshed. So the color is really, really close. It's a little bit more orangey, but I think that's really good for me because yellow tends to look pretty bad against my skin tone. So I go for the more orangey kind of Lum. Here he is, as usual. As soon as I put fabric down, it becomes his home. Leave him alone. Ziggy, please. This is too much. This has been discontinued at Joann, so I don't think you can still get this exact fabric anymore unless your local Joann happens to have it in the discontinued section or the discount section, which is where I got mine from. And I ended up getting a lot of it just in case I want to remake Lum again one of these days. But okay, I'm going to start cutting some stuff out, just following along the patterns of the old costume that I made. So. Okay, so these are the bras that I got to cover for Lum. I did get 2, and both of them are push-up bras. This is only because I have no titty, and Lum has quite a little bit of a titty. So in order to create that illusion, I will be stacking 2 pairs of push-up bras, one on top of the other. Basically what I'm going to do is just take the cups from one of the bras and sew them onto the cups, or sew them into the cups of another one of the bras. It'll function a lot more like this bra that I made first. This one actually has a clasp in the back, but I can use the stretch of it just to lift it over my head and put it onto my body. So this one was ideal because the back band is all fabric. That way I can even take it in a little bit if I need to, and it stretches. It's all stretch fabric, so it should be fine to go up over my head and onto my body. That way it'll be strapless, and it should still have a lot of support and security. So let me go ahead and get started with taking off these guys, cutting up the cups of this one, and making her bra base. Okay, so now I'm going to actually hand stitch this into this. So that's going to take me some time, and I will come back and show you guys how all of that is looking once that is finished. Okay, so now I have this sewn together. I just did a whip stitch all around in the cup in order to put both together so it has extra padding. I think with this bra I might end up having to put in like the invisible straps just so that it gives a better shape, but we'll see what happens. I don't have any of those handy, I don't think, so we'll just see what it looks like after I actually cover it and decide what to do from there. So that'll be the first layer. I'm going to go ahead and cut out another one of the same exact shape so that I can layer it. That way I can have this this effect here where I actually have like different layers coming out, which makes the little edges easier to cut. Alright, so here we go. I have every piece for Lum cut out and kind of basically put together. I just have to actually assemble everything and then do all of the lines, so that's coming up next. Okay, so I finished up sewing one of the boots, and clearly I had to go and take it in around the calves and everything so that it fit me pretty snugly and was easy to put on. So all I'm gonna do really is just put this right on here, transfer out the new seams that I made all out in chalk, and then I'm gonna sew this up and I'll have both of her booties done too. Okay, so now I have the shorts done and the socks. So what I'm gonna do now is try and cover this bra. It's absolutely the most complicated part of this costume, I believe, just because there are so many ways you can do it. And what I'm going to do is I think model it off of my last one. It seems like I sewed a tube and then scrunched up the middle, which is the way that I like the way that that looks a lot on Lum. So I'm going to scrunch the middle up again, but on the inside there was like a whole tube that I sewed. So what I'm actually going to do is connect these parts and then turn them together and make that into that tube and connect it that way. And then I'm going to go back in and hand stitch all of the detailing that I want and make sure it all fits around the bra really well. Then I'm going to sew the seam on the back together. So here we go. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I'm doing to actually put the bra inside. What I ended up doing was taking off the hook here And then over here I opened up this seam a little bit so that I will be able to actually go in and hook it together in a moment. But I'm really just kind of stuffing this in here into this tube that I made from the pieces that I had cut out earlier. And I am using this like this wand thing that I have in order to help kind of push everything through. It's kind of weird, right? It's like fitting something that's not supposed to be in here into like a stocking. It's like definitely strange. This is what's happening at the moment. So I'm just trying to keep pushing it inside as far in as it'll go. So that's how it is looking at the moment. I'm gonna end up getting these closer together with some finagling, and then I just have to sew up this back seam, including the bra piece, and I'll pretty much have it covered. I'm just gonna have to go ahead and do some scrunching at the very center, and yeah, that's basically that. I also, since this is like 2 layers, I can cut very carefully into one of these layers and make it into the little things. So that's Lum's bra. She's coming. So this is what she looks like all constructed and put together. All that's left for me to do is draw all of her stripes on. I'm going to be using Sharpie markers and another alcohol-based marker that I have, which is what I used for my last Lum. It does end up smudging over time. We still haven't been able to figure out like what we can do to make her stripes so they don't actually smudge. Because it's stretch fabric, I don't want to use like paint, or I don't want to like screen print it, because I feel like once it stretches you won't really you'll see all the in-betweens, and it's just, I don't know. So far markering is the best bet. Fabric marker doesn't really get dark black enough, so it's all up to the Sharpies from here. So we'll try that out. Alright, so I'm just testing out my marker options. This is the one that I got today that I was a little excited to try out, Pilot Super Color Marker. This one was wide and broad. It was only like $3, and it was the only one that was at Walmart today, so it's the one that I ended up grabbing. If they had a smaller one, that would have been cool, but this is basically the mark that I made with this. The edges are really messy with it. It does have like, I'll show you guys the tip. This is what the tip looks like, so you can mark with either corner, but it's still pretty messy. This in the middle is going to be this marker plus a regular old Sharpie, which I used to get the edges pretty nice. That ended up happening, so it's just something to look out for when doing it. And this one is just the Sharpie marker, which is clearly, it gives you the most control. The edges are going to be a little fuzzy no matter what I do, I think, but those are my options. I'm really kind of happy with how super black all of them are. I have this whole pack of Sharpies and this big old marker, so hopefully I have enough to do her whole outfit. So I guess I'm going to start marking out the designs and drawing all of that in, and I'll check in with you guys pretty soon. Alright guys, so I just sort of wanted to show you my method. What I'm going to be doing is basically obviously using references, because this is the most important time to use them in case I do something that looks out of scale or just wrong. I'd be really disappointed since it's a permanent marker and it's not like it'll be just easy to start over. So I'm going to be pretty much, Lum is drawn in a lot of different ways. Her stripes are never exact every single time. So what I'm going to do is pretty much take what I like from this version and what I like from this version and any other Lums that are in my mind and just kind of make it to where I think it'll look great on me. I have this, the little bikini bottoms on this piece of cardboard so that it doesn't leak through to the other side or ruin anything else. And I tried it on and just sort of did a couple of chalk marks where I think I want the stripes to be. And I'm going to go in again, this time with a pencil, and finalize that design before I actually start Sharpieing. So I'll show you guys when I get all of the designs drawn out on this and I can get to Sharpieing it in. Alright, well I have all of my stripes drawn on now, so now it's time to actually start markering everything in. That took me forever, and I'm sure the markering will only take longer, so I think what I'm gonna do is sit down with a couple episodes of anime comfortably on my bed and just start coloring all of this in. So let me go ahead and get to that. Alright guys, so I so far have markered on all the stripes on the shorts and on the bikini top. So I'm pretty happy with the way that everything's looking for the most part. I feel like this might have been too low, but I also made it so that I can adjust it, so I might like just kind of swoop the stripes over a little bit so they're easier to see. All these edges are going to be kind of cut up so they look a little bit ragged like hers do. And I still have to do her boots, which I've sketched out where the stripe should go, but it's just going to be absolute hell actually doing all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and take a break for tonight and then get her horns done probably during my break from Sharpie, and then I want to get back and get this started tonight and hopefully finish tonight, but we'll see what happens. But so far, here's what Lum looks like. And I know it's super similar to my other one, it's just that the other one is again so old and just, you can see like, oh, yeah, you guys can see they're made like the exact same way. The striping on them looks pretty similar. Just this one is a completely like different color. It's like been old and nasty for so long that it's like become gray. It's got pilling on it. It's like faded. You guys, oh wow, seeing this up close, you guys just know. You already know. This one needs to get thrown away. So I'm using this Instamorph, which I've used before. I used it actually to make her horns the first time. They're just way too big. So what I'm actually going to do is just melt these down again, take off the metal parts, and all I have to do for that is boil some water, pour it in the cup, wait, and hopefully everything will start separating, and after a little while I'll be able to handle this and just kind of start playing with it again. I pretty much, this mug is going to become a paint mug, so I'm not too worried about the fact that there's paint on this. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to do to remake the horns. In case for some reason it doesn't work out and I can't like redo these, I do have more in here, so I'll just make some from that. So in case you guys were wondering, this is my progress on the boots. That is a little bit of one side of one boot. I still have to do the whole other boot. Don't fall, Lum. That's what I'm working on. What I'm doing is outlining them with this and then filling it in with this. This pen is pretty good, but it bleeds really heavily, so like you can kind of see like the blacker inner portions are all from this pen, this Pilot pen, and then the rest on the outside, the edges are actually done in Sharpie. So I've just been doing that for hours and I'm starting to get a headache from the fumes, but you know what? Anything. I'll do anything for her, so I'm not even bothered. I still have to do the horns. I have to heat up water again because the water actually didn't get hot enough to melt the plastic. So I'm gonna have to do that again later. But first things first, I'm gonna get at least one of these boots done and then I can go and do that. Hey guys, so this is it. This is Lum all done. Her horns are much smaller now. They're maybe a little too small, but I also kind of like them really tiny. I had them like way too big, so now they're a little bit tiny, and I'm a big fan of that. But anyways, yeah, so she's all done. I finished her last night at about 3 a.m. So I figured I would wait to film the rest to when I had decent lighting and you could actually see her. But yeah, so here is my new Lum costume. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video and watching me make her. And if you're planning a Lum costume of your own, I hope this helped you out a little bit. I am eventually going to replace her wig. I just don't really have the funds for that right now. And speaking of funds, make sure you guys check out my Ko-fi page if you want to buy me a coffee and help support me in my cosplay and my YouTube channel to get things going a little bit faster for you guys and to show you guys content that you guys want to see. And also to help me get to conventions more and to make fun, interesting convention vlogs. So I hope you guys enjoyed and I'll see you soon. Dacha!